Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Blake? What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is right here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. And guys, speaking of not being in a cult, at least not being in a cult anymore, we have a very, very special guest today. This is somebody I never dreamed I'd be able to talk to on this channel. Never dreamed they would ever leave Scientology. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Scientologist, now ex-Scientologist, the biggest movie star in the world, Tom Cruise. Tom, welcome to the channel.
Aaron, hey, thanks for having me. I got to tell you, man, I've been lurking on your channel for a while now. Under a burner account, of course. Shout out to Mission Implausible.
Oh my God. Mission Implausible has been you this whole time?
Oh yeah. And I've seen the work you've been doing. It's gutsy, it's real, and frankly, it's what I wish I'd seen 20 years ago. Wow.
Well, Tom, this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal for you. This is a huge deal for Scientology. You've been the face of Scientology. Nobody ever expected you to leave. I never expected you to leave. So, I mean, when did it change for you? Actually, let me ask you this. What made you stop talking publicly about Scientology a number of years ago? You stopped talking publicly about Scientology. What made you stop doing that?
You know, Aaron, there's a certain weight that comes with being the poster boy for a movement, especially one that prides itself on saving the world. For years, I was told I was making history, clearing the planet, bringing real solutions to mankind. But the truth? I was just another tool in COB's toolbox. And I didn't realize that until I saw just how little we were actually accomplishing.
Tom, real quick for the viewers, let's explain what COB means and who that is.
Oh, sure. COB is chairman of the board, RTC, leader of Scientology, David Miscavige.
So was there a moment that for you was like either the first major crack in the dam or either like the last thing that made the dam collapse? Was there like a single thing, whichever one of those you think is more interesting to talk about? Either like what was the first thing that made you go, okay, something is wrong here, or what was the final straw?
There were a few cracks, but one that really stuck with me was the ideal orgs. You ever get that gut feeling, that little whisper in the back of your mind saying something's off? For me, it was the ribbon cutting in Madrid. When I stood on that stage, hyping up expansion, that wasn't happening. The energy, it wasn't excitement, it was desperation. We were selling this illusion of growth, but the buildings were empty. And I kept thinking, this is what's supposed to clear the planet? That whisper got louder every year, and Dave had me convinced I was the key, that the whole ideal org strategy existed because of me, because my influence was bringing in millions of new Scientologists. He didn't want people walking into old, shitty, rundown buildings. He told me that would reflect badly on the church, and on me. And I bought into it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about David Miscavige. You and Dave have been very close for a long time. I think you would describe him as your best friend. He was the best man at 3 of your weddings. He went on your last honeymoon with you, with Katie Holmes. What's your take on him now?
Dave, man, where do I even start? For years, I saw him as this unstoppable force, relentless, dedicated, brilliant. He had this way of making you feel like you were part of something bigger, like you were on the front lines of saving the world, and I ate it up.
Okay, so it was like a bromance?
Yeah, he was my best friend, but it's difficult looking back. I realize I was being played. Dave's not some visionary. He's a con man in an Italian tailor-made suit. Everything was about control. Who had it, who didn't, and how he could keep it. The rage, the paranoia, I ignored so much because I needed to believe in him. I was totally devoted. I thought we were making the world a better place. He just wanted to make his world untouchable. I truly believed he was a genius. Until I realized he was just a guy who clung to Hubbard's playbook and turned it into a full-blown dictatorship.
Okay. So you've really seen behind the curtain. I mean, you've seen behind the curtain. You've seen the real Wizard of Oz in a way that really no other Scientologist has. Were there times when you started to question things, but then brushed it off, or somehow convinced yourself, no, 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 no. It must just be me? Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. So, there's a big difference between having doubts and actually making the decision to walk away, especially for good. What was it that did that for you? What made you say, I am done?
There was two things. One was the ideal org scam. For years, I bought into the whole pitch. These gleaming buildings were supposed to be the future of Scientology, the key to planetary clearing. But the deeper I looked, the more I saw the truth. The ideal orgs weren't about helping people. They were about owning property. It was all a front, millions of dollars being funneled into empty buildings, while actual Scientologists were struggling to pay for courses. Dave didn't care about clearing the planet. He cared about collecting assets. If it were about clearing the planet, Dave would have had all the new org buildings purchased and renovated by now. It was just a money play. That's why 20 years later, half the orgs still aren't done. If Dave wanted the ideal org project done, it would be done. There's enough money in reserves to get all the orgs done, and that was true 20 years ago. It's just like the Superpower project. Do you remember how many decades that project lasted for? The reason the Superpower building took so long to complete is that the goal was to raise as much money as possible for as long as possible, while promising everyone that Superpower was the key to world clearing. Look how that turned out. Not only was Superpower not the key to clearing the planet, but Scientology actually went backwards. There are less Scientologists today than there were when Superpower was released over 10 years ago. Now, the Ideal Org project is supposed to be the key to planetary clearing. But look at Buffalo, look at San Francisco, look at Tampa, two of the first Ideal Orgs. 20 years later, they are insolvent and empty. And then there was the second thing. Dave and I were close, or at least I thought we were, but I found out he was sitting around laughing, shit-talking my private life, stuff I'd shared in auditing. My pre-clear folders, the things I thought were sacred, were nothing more than entertainment for him. He used my most personal struggles as gossip. That was it. That's when I realized I was never special to Dave. I was just another tool, another asset, and that's when I was done.
All right. Well, that brings me to a topic I know a lot of people are wondering about, and that is your marriages. Scientology prides itself on having the only workable technology for life. Obviously, that includes marriages, relationships. 3 failed marriages, all with Scientologists. So, from your perspective, what happened with the marriages?
Oh man, you're really hitting me with it. You know what? I'll own it. I really believed that Scientology could solve everything. But the truth is, it can't even get 2 people to stay in a room together unless one of them is an auditor. My marriages didn't fail because of some personal flaw. I mean, maybe a little, but mostly because Scientology demands all of you. And when you're giving all of you to the church, there's nothing left for a marriage.
Okay. And Katie, what really happened there? I mean, in a deposition, she did say one of the reasons she left was to protect Suri from Scientology. But what is it that really happened there?
Look, I made choices that, looking back, I regret. Katie saw something I didn't. She knew what the church would do if she stayed, and she made a decision I couldn't make at the time.
When you say Katie saw something that you didn't, what was it? What did she know that you weren't ready to see?
She saw the cage while I was still convinced it was a kingdom. Katie knew that as long as she was in Scientology, she wouldn't have control over her own life or Suri's. She saw the pressure, the monitoring, the way everything had to serve the church first. She knew they'd try to mold Suri into a model Scientologist, that she'd be surrounded by handlers, that every move would be watched. And she wasn't going to let that happen. Me, I was too deep in. I thought Scientology was the answer to everything. I thought I was in control. But looking back, I wasn't. She was the one who had the strength to leave. She made the choice I couldn't, until it was too late.
So we've heard stories from some people who worked in Dave's inner circle, how much control and influence he had over your relationships, your marriages. So we're talking about with Mimi and Nicole and with Katie. And also, of course, we know about Scientology's disconnection policy. Did Dave pressure you to cut ties with Suri, or was it just impossible to continue to be in Scientology and for some reason to continue to be in Suri's life?
No one put a gun to my head and said, you have to cut ties with Suri. That choice was mine. But here's the thing. When you're in Scientology at my level, you don't need to be forced. You believe it's the right thing to do. I wasn't just another Scientologist. I was the Scientologist. I had to set the example, be the perfect product of LRH tech. And in Scientology, that meant my first duty wasn't to my daughter, it was to Scientology. I told myself I was doing the right thing, that by staying dedicated, by proving my commitment to Dave and the tech, I was helping everyone, even her. But looking back, that was a lie. A lie I told myself so I wouldn't have to face the truth, that I was abandoning my own child for a cult. That's one of my biggest regrets. I should have done things differently. I should have fought for her. I made the wrong choices, and unfortunately, I can't take them back.
All right. Well, speaking of missing people, Shelly Miscavige. Do you know why Shelley wasn't at your and Katie's wedding?
Yeah, I remember asking Dave, where's Shelley? It was weird, you know? She was always there, always right by his side. But when I brought it up, he just waved it off. She's on a project, he said, like it was nothing. But even then, something felt off. I mean, this is his wife. The guy doesn't go anywhere without her. And yet, the woman who's been by his side for decades is just absent. No explanation, no nothing. At the time, I told myself not to overthink it. You don't question Dave. But looking back, I know exactly why I never saw her again.
When you say you know why you never saw her again, what do you mean?
Shelley knew too much. She wasn't just his wife. She was the one person who had been with him through everything. She saw what really went on behind closed doors. And in Scientology, the only thing worse than being an outsider is being an insider who knows too much. And when that happens, you disappear.
Have you had any contact with Shelley since?
No, and I don't think I ever will. People ask, is she okay? Where is she? But the truth is, in Scientology, okay doesn't mean what people think it does. If Shelley is out there somewhere, I hope she knows that she's not forgotten. There are people who wish she would leave and would help her if she wanted to. I would help her.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. And I appreciate you being open about this. And it can't be easy, but I think your honesty is important and it means a lot. And I think you're absolutely right. Shelly Miscavige isn't just another Scientologist. She was right there by Dave's side for decades. She saw everything. She knows everything. I mean, it's been 20 years now since she was sent away, but still. And I think Dave knows that she could do an awful lot of damage to him and to Scientology. And that, if she ever went over to the dark side, and that the authorities would fall all over themselves to get her under oath, especially willingly with her cooperation. I think he knows that. Exactly. Yeah, I still get asked all the time, where is Shelly Miscavige? In the comment section, even on videos that have nothing to do with Shelley, it's like, it's a phenomenon. People who don't know anything else about Scientology will still ask, where is Shelley? It's why I do videos about it so often. I haven't done it in a while, but it's why I do Shelly Miscavige videos. People are absolutely fascinated with this subject. And to think it all started blowing up at your wedding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, Tom. Well, a lot of people are watching and a lot of people have sent in some comments, questions, and super chats. How about we take some of these?
Let's do it. Let's see what people have to say.
All right, let's dive in. Okay, first question here. Are you and John Travolta friends?
Friends? No way. We've never been friends. We tolerated each other, sure. But let's just say when someone's that jealous of you, things get weird. And trust me, weird happened.
Can you tell us the weird things that happened?
Well, there was the one time John actually made a pass at me. That's when I knew he was 1-1 on the tone scale.
Tom, for the people watching, can we explain what being 1-1 in the tone scale means?
Yeah, in Scientology, 1.1 is covert hostility. It's when someone acts like they're being friendly, but deep down, they're hiding a lot of resentment and manipulation. So when John made that move, I knew it wasn't just weird. It was straight up 1.1. You can't trust someone like that. They'll say one thing and mean another, always with hidden motives. Hubbard classified all gay people as 1.1.
So you and John were both huge stars in Scientology, obviously. But when you came in and you got into Scientology about 10 or so years after John, I have to imagine things changed a little bit. You were now the new it boy, the new golden child, whatever. Miscavige's new favorite. And I imagine things started to fade a bit for John Travolta. How did all that play out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I came into Scientology, I became the new favorite. Dave saw something in me, and I guess I gave him everything he wanted. A true, loyal believer, willing to go all in. So John, he was this big established star, but when I came in, it wasn't the same. The attention that had been on him shifted. Scientology was all about expansion, and Dave put all his energy into making me the face of that expansion. John had been the big deal for so long, but I was the one making waves now, and let's just say John didn't like it. That pedestal he was on, I kind of knocked him off it. It wasn't intentional, but I became the one who embodied everything Scientology stood for, and I think that was hard for John to accept.
Okay, Tom, next super chat comes from the real COB. Okay, Aaron, if you end this stream right now, I will send you another $50,000 super chat. Well, first of all, my pearls, I am flattered. But I don't think ending this stream right now is in my best interests. And for that reason, I'm out. Sorry, Dave. I mean, the real COB.
Is that really Dave? That's hilarious.
All right, next question that we have here says, what about the Matt Lauer interview? Do you regret how you acted?
Regret? No way. That was some of my finest work. Do I still believe what I said about psychiatry? I've evolved, but in that moment, I was in it. I was playing the role Miscavige wanted me to play, and that's what Scientology does. It writes the script for you, and you don't even realize you're acting.
All right, Tom, next super chat here comes from user Kate Noel. Says, Tom, I hope you're listening. You didn't have the courage to leave when it mattered, but I did. I hope one day you can understand why I had to do what I did for me, for Surrey, and for my future. The truth will always come out.
All right, now I know I'm in the Twilight Zone. Katie, if that's really you, thank you for getting out when you did, for seeing what I couldn't, and for giving our daughter the life she deserved.
Tom, it's been a really long road for you. A lot of revelations here, a lot of truths coming to light. I really appreciate you being so open about all of this. Before we wrap it up, is there anything that you would like to say to people who are still under the radar in Scientology, or people who are just having doubts?
If you're still in and watching this, listen up. It's never too late to break free. The church will try to make you believe Scientology is the only way to be happy, but that's a lie. You deserve a life where you can think for yourself, make your own choices, and live without fear. There's a whole world outside waiting for you, a world where you're free. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission. If you're questioning things, don't stay silent. Reach out for help. The SPTV Foundation is there helping people just like you every day. You have the power to leave, to take control of your life, and to live on your own terms.
Wow. Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. This has been a blast. It's been really incredible. And I appreciate you using your voice to get the truth out there about this multi-billion-dollar international family-destroying human trafficking cult. And I'd love to have you on in the future if you're open to it.
Oh, yeah? Well, give it a few weeks. I'll probably have my own hate website by then.
Yeah, if you don't already.
True. But hey, if I'm already being fair gamed, might as well make it worth their time, right?
Exactly. Well, you've got an open invite here. Anytime you want to come back on, you know where to find me.
I really appreciate that, Aaron. And to everyone watching, thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe